money's not the foremost thing in my mind, never has been. I want to finish this record, you know. I mean, to Holland it's new, but to New York it's a year and a half old, you know. So I have to finish the new record, get that out, and we're going to tour a little bit here just to fortify what's going down here in the States. And then I'm going to Europe because it's a blitz. It's like, it's you know, because I'm going over to Europe to stay for a while. Okay. And so I'll do quite a few in Holland and, you know, all over everywhere. And then I go over to Australia. Then I come back and we start working on a film called Neverland. And that's it. And 83 I'm going to do, and you know.
Okay, thank you too for this conversation.
Case, our pleasure.
Thank you,
Here
Holland.
we are. Thank you, Holland.
Thanks a lot. It's
Thanks.
great, really.
It's a little improv on our part, you know what I mean? Hey, welcome to Meatland. Welcome to Meatland. Bye, Holland. I would blow you a kiss, but I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
Well, I do.
Okay. You ready? I know that we just said goodbye about 4 times. She blew you a kiss and all that.
There's a rumor going on in Holland that you died.
There is? Yeah. Oh, that's obviously true. It's obviously true. I mean, how can I fight that? You know, obviously when I'm dead, I'm dead. So obviously, you know, I'm like, except it's daylight, so I can't say I'm a vampire. You know, it's like Night of the Living Dead. You ever see that? Did they have the film Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
It's Day of the Living Dead here. You know, I sleep at night and walk around during the day. I'm obviously dead, though. I will not dispute that whatsoever. Something is always happening, either visual or, you know, whatever. I can't think of another word, but anyway, hearing, visual, you know, whatever. It's always there. So it's like I don't have the luxury in our show to, let's say I do, for instance, a song called All Revved Up with No Place to Go, and I'm going to follow that with Heaven Can Wait. I don't have the luxury of taking 3 or 4 minutes of recovering from All Revved Up to go into Heaven Can Wait, which is a ballad. So sometimes they'll just sneak right out on stage. Nobody ever sees it, you know, and I'll do it so that I'm ready. It's like in football or in American football. You know, a pass receiver goes out for a long pass. He runs 85 yards. They'll take him off the field, give him a shot of oxygen so he can run 85 yards again, which is completely dumb. Seeing as the guy, that's all he does all day is run down the field, you know, and he never catches a pass. But the line and the pace of the show is a necessary function of that show. And that's what makes it different. That's what makes our show different than most rock and roll shows, is because you take almost every act that I know, they'll stop. We never stop. I never say a word to the audience. The first time I ever open my mouth to anybody is to Carl. It's in conjunction with the characters speaking to one another. And after about an hour and a half or hour and 40 minutes, I finally talk to the audience. But when I talk to the audience, it's still part of the show. And so that's what makes our show really different. And that's another thing that has helped too, is the show is so different from a rock and roll show. Maybe people don't actually realize it. In other words, if you sit down and say, what makes Meatloaf's show different? They would go, well, just Meatloaf, he's visual. Karla, she's real visual. But the real difference, besides being visual, is the pace and the line of the show. And that's what makes it different. And people could probably not pick that apart and pick that out if they're watching it. They wouldn't understand that Billy Joel, he stops, that we don't, or that Springsteen stops, or that Seeger stops, or that Styx, or whoever. They stop. We don't.
Out of the band? Is that true?
No, that's not true. I have not been out of the band.
You're not going out of the band too?
Pardon me?
You're not going out of the band
No,
too?
I'm staying with
She'll never look
Meatloaf.
the same if she tries to leave, you know?
He'll kill me. No, really, my career has really pretty much been started off, made, created, whatever, by being involved in Meat's project. And I really love it, and I'm going to be here for at least a couple more years until he kicks me out. I'll be here, yeah.
Basically, Carl and I are in the same boat, you know. My career basically started with me, too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like, you know, we're in the same...
He's not leaving either.
I'm not leaving either. The rumor is not true. I am not leaving Meatloaf. I was thinking about it, but I decided it was not good, you know.
Can you tell me something about the new album?
Sure, what do you want to know?
What's it gonna be?
Something. Okay, no, it's, again, written by Jim Steinman, our man behind the scenes, our eternal crazy person who is afraid of success but wants it really badly, you know. So he's like shell-shocked most of the time. And, you know, he can't, it's like when we were, you know, it's like we were discussing, for instance, you know, like... Jim, we didn't want to copy anything we did from the first record because we don't have to necessarily. So it's like Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which was, you know, big a lot of places here in Holland, Canada, you know. well, we don't want to copy Paradise. So, you know, we wanted a duet again with Karla, and we were having problems and things like that. All of a sudden it happened. So I think the next album, as far as material on the record is concerned, is a better material than this one. And everybody kept saying, well, I think it's getting a little dark. In other words, the new album was a little dark. But Jim Steinman writes dark. Everything's dark. It's like this very dark kind of humor, very dark tongue-in-cheek, but also very enlightening at the same time, and hits things right on the head and nails it. But it's very, again, innocent, like Paradise. You know, I mean, when he wrote that, nailed exactly life in a car, life in a field, or, you know, teenage things. And so he nails everything on the head, and it has a tendency, when read by Jim Steinman, to be very dark. But with the thing that Karla and I will do on the next record, it's a three-piece thing again, Stark Raving Love, and then a thing called Dance My Pants, which Karla sings, and into another thing called Lost Boys and Golden Girls. And it's completely different than Paradise, but it's a similar kind of thing, because Karla, except the roles are reversed this time. Karla wants to make it, and I want to dance. You know, so that, you know, it's a different role, and but everything, you know, I think the working title of the record, which I think it'll be, is Renegade Angel, and which sort of fits in with Bat Out of Hell, and it's people go, well, is it going to be similar? And I always say, well, it's similar to the fact that I'm singing lead vocals. Karla will be there. Some of the same people, Todd Rundgren, Jim Steinman writes the songs, but everything we do, no matter how it is different every time we do it. And we try to, it's like one of the best quotes I ever heard about us is, if we ever figured out what we were doing, we'd be in big trouble. So I don't think we sit around and try to figure it out. It just sort of comes along and fits together like a puzzle. And we always hope that we can find the last piece to the puzzle. And the song that Karla and I are going to do on the next record will be the piece that finished the puzzle, and which turned everything around from being like seeming so dark into very, hey, you know, that kind of thing.
Who's going to be the producer?
Good, different question. Good. See, because before we ran out of film, we had to switch films, so we asked a new question. Who's going to be the producer? Todd Rundgren, once again. Another insanity person in our lives. I mean, the man's totally crazy, you know, but he's very bright. In one sense, he's like Jim Steinman. He's really intelligent, very bright, and yet completely dumb, you know? It's like they know exactly what they're doing when they're on the levels where they're doing it, and they're the top people. But you get them off in some other areas, you know, it's like night and day, you know? This is the same guy I was working with before. But Todd's a genius, you know, at what he does, and he's also a very underrated guitar player. And the thing that he does best of all is background vocals. Anybody who was ever in a background vocal session with Todd Rundgren would probably faint. You know, I almost did, only because I have no comprehension of harmonies whatsoever. So, I mean, to watch Todd Rundgren go, okay, you sing this, da da da, you know, that kind of stuff. I had no idea. I'm going, I can't believe this guy. But he's unbelievable, you know, and I don't think that we would have had the success with Bat if it hadn't been for Todd, you know, that we've had. And I really, really believe that. I mean, there's a lot of things that have made the success of Bat, but Todd is he like structured everything for us when we needed it to be structured at the initial foundation of what we were doing as far as recording goes. It's that kind of innocence. And also on the lyrics on Paradise, it's like basically it is that communication, but it also stems from the girl has the upper hand, you know what I'm saying? Because the girl has the product. You know, the girl is the product that the guy's going after. So she's like, not necessarily selling it, but you know, like auctioning it off. And in the song, it's like saying, hey, you know, hey, I want to do this. Well, you want to do this, then you got to do this. You know, that kind of thing.
So she
it's
can
like
say
a business
no.
deal. You know, it's like a business deal. It's, you know, you give this, I'll give you this. You know, that kind of thing. It's like the thing on baseball. It's like a locker room term. In other words, athletes in America, probably like athletes anywhere, are the macho image of something. You know, like when you're in school and you play football or you play baseball or something. You know, that's the thing when you're in that age. The people look up to those people. You know, and that's it. So it comes back to like locker room talk, which is a thing in America. It's like guys get in and go, I'm sure it's that way anywhere, only it's probably different. I don't know whether it's locker room talk in Holland or whatever. I've never experienced locker room talk in Holland yet. Maybe I will.
Soccer talk or something.
You know, and it's the same thing. So I'm thinking about going for Christmas, actually. I've been sitting around going, I think I want to go to Holland now. You know, I mean, it's like, seems wonderful.
But the success came after the film. Has that been the same in other countries?
Oh, yeah. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England. Not so much America, because America doesn't. I actually think they're behind, if you want to know the truth. You know, it's like, or else they see so much product, they're bored with it and don't know when something, you know, it really stands out, when it's a piece of work or whatever, you know. But I think America's behind, actually, because I think that's how things really should be exposed, and through good films. But they see so many bad films, you know. It's like everybody, because necessarily artists don't necessarily know sometimes how to use a film properly, because it's like 3 different things, you know. There's the recording, then there's live, and then there's film. And it's like so many bands said, well, I can't show a film at my live concert because nobody will come to the live concert. Film is another aspect, which makes people want to come to the live concert more, I think. And it's all in how you use it, you know. It's like an illusion. Film is an illusion. And if you use it as an illusion, then it's more fun. Because you get to do a lot more on film. And you get to do a lot less, too, you know. But you get to do more facial, more things like that. I mean, I do them live, but when you're dealing with 15,000 people, the 14,001 back there doesn't really necessarily see it. He only feels it, which is good, too. So that's a live thing, is to feel it. And film is a visual, and records are hearing. So it's like 3 different senses.
Hello, this is Paul McCartney, and you're watching Europe's #1 rock show, Countdown.